Bought this phone a long time ago. I don't even remember when. The phone itself doesn't work anymore. I can't hear anybody talking. The case costs more than the phone itself, and I don't want to buy a new case. It's paid off, and there's no contract. My phone is good enough. It's not the greatest phone, but it's my phone.
All right, welcome to Lunch Therapy. This is your show. Whoa, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for being here. It is Interview Friday. This is your show where you can take a break from the crap, talk about comedy, we talk about filmmaking, we talk about acting, we talk about how to keep your mind right. Today we've got Linda Marcus Smith, longtime comedian. She's been doing comedy for over a decade. She started late in life and is just on a rocket trajectory. Jane Cantillon, no phones about it. That's hilarious. Thank you. Yeah, that's our sponsor. My phone. My phone. It's good enough. That's the slogan. Hoy, hoy, Alamac. Hoy. Today on the show, we say hoy instead of hi, the traditional hi. It just makes things a little bit more congenial, I think. On Fridays, we interview people. Today, Linda Marcus Smith. On Tuesdays, I invite you all to come and try your hand at our contest. We got Mama J from the Netflix The Trust as my co-host. We have a quiz. We do all kinds of stand-up comedy. Sometimes we have guest comedians come on and go on the Trash Panda Comedy Club. So I invite you to come Tuesdays too, as well as Fridays for the interviews. This is Lunch Therapy. Our slogan here is, I'm going to get myself a modem. No one knows what that means. I'm going to get myself a modem. 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 Patreons, thank you so much to all the Patreons out there. Couldn't do the show without you. We are so delighted to have more Patreons too. Patreon.com/Joel Marshall is where you go to support live independent media, because as you know, it is very important, more and more important as days go on. And the oppression continues. Today, we've got Linda. She's remote, so this could be one of those crazy shows where she's in and out, and I don't know. We've had guests on the show in the back of cars. We've had guests on the side of the road. We've had some guests that were driving Uber. So we're used to this kind of thing, but there's a little randomity that occurs when somebody's on their phone in a cafe in New York City. But it's magic, you know, magic. Here, I'm here in Los Angeles. She's in New York City. She's got so many gigs that she can't even she can't be home because she's on her way to the next thing. So that's pretty cool. We're going to learn more about that. I want to say these are the shows that are going on. These are the shows that are going on around the country, around Los Angeles. The comedians, people have been on the show. This is Karen Haber. She's at Catherine Shore's Comedy Club, Fanatic Salon. So go to her, Karen Haber's Instagram. Check that out. That's tonight at 8 p.m., $15. I mean, and Karen Haber, as Linda probably knows, she's a powerhouse. Who else we got? Oh, Cruel Babes at the Elysian Theater. If you haven't been to the Elysian Theater, this is a great opportunity to go see Cruel Babes. This is John Gilkey's brilliant show, improv clown. He live directs. It's the coolest thing. Linda is in the chat room too. Multitasking. I love it. What else is going on out there? Oh, flashback comedy with Ginny Sykes in Oxnard, or on Oxnard Street in Van Nuys. That's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Check out her Instagram for more details. And tonight is Show and Tell, 100th Show and Tell. So if you go to the Show and Tell with Seth Word and Kyle Helf, get on over there. It's in Hollywood. It's also online. So if you don't know what Show and Tell is, it's a lot of comedic, hilarious short filmmakers. They do it once a month. And this is the 100th time they've done it. So, wow. I'm impressed. Aha.
You shut it.
Time for the breathing. Jane Cantillon. This is great. Please, if you have something coming up, let us know. Dickless Jane and the New Confusions at the Dresden Room this Sunday, 7 o'clock till 10 p.m., and it's free. I don't know if any of you know about the Dresden Room, but it's classic place in Los Angeles. If you want to see something truly Los Angeles, in the greatest spirit of Los Angeles, go see Dickless Jane and the New Confusions at the Dresden Room this Sunday at 7 o'clock. And you can be in bed by 10:30. You know, if you're an early sleeper. I'm not. I go to bed at like 3 a.m. I don't know why. Behind me, chakra vibrations. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. Last Tuesday on the show, maybe for the first time ever, we forgot to take 3 deep breaths. So we're going to do it today. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. In through the nose, out through the toes. Howard Ronan, of course, is going to be in the chat room at Joel Marshall's Lunch Therapy on 3/28 at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. In through the nose, out through the toes. Let it go. By the way, while we're doing the interview, feel free to put a chat in. We put them at the bottom of the screen. If you have a question for Linda, some of you know Linda.
Shut that door.
I hear Linda now talking. I'm gonna have to mute her. Yes. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything that you want to comment on, please do. If you want to promote your show in the middle of this interview, please do. If you want to try and distract us by asking us about the slee stack in Portland or something, random like that, feel free. Let's get into this thing. First, a little bit of music. This is the preparation for the show. This is your moment of Zen. Marcel Hutter, all the way from Germany? Feel free to breathe during this part too. I love this guy. One of my favorites. amazing. It really is good. All right, Antonio. Love it. Check out on Antonio last Friday. I believe that's Antonio Scarpetta. Great to see you. Great interview last week with him. Yeah. Incredible. All right, let's get on with this. Whoa! I don't even... What? What's happening? Oh, good, it is Antonio. Oh my God. This is some of the best handpan in the world. Or Hong. Go on over to his website, Marcel Hutter. Check him out. Hutter. Marcel Hutter. All right, let's get into this thing. Lunch Therapy Interview Friday. This kid is insane, totally. Or sane. He could be sane, too. Okay. Here we are. We are moving our way to New York City now, where we're going to find Linda Marcus Smith in a cafe. Is that inspirational for you, Mama J? Yeah, it is for me, too. Yeah, we're going to find Linda in a cafe there in New York City. Just zoom right in. I'm going to find her sitting at a table. For those of you who don't know Linda Marcus Smith, the handful of people out there that don't know who she is, she's a comedian. She hails from Portland. We've had some Portland people on the show. We had Susan Rice on the show a little while back. She's got this incredible energy, very positive. She was a military veteran, which deeply influences her comedy. She served in the military, faced some significant challenges, including a traumatic brain injury from a car accident and PTSD from past traumas. And some of this had her turn to comedy as a form of healing when she was around 61, maybe 63. She began performing stand-up comedy in Portland, found her voice very quickly, and she started interviewing other comics prolifically during the pandemic. I think I met her just before the pandemic up in at Harvey's Comedy Club. She was in the club. I was up there with Jimmy Shin, and she found her voice very quickly. She interviewed, I think she's interviewed 1,000 comics, including many of the people that we know. And she's been performing in Portland, and then she went to Las Vegas. We caught up with her in Las Vegas early on in the pandemic, early on in the show. And now she's in New York City just tearing it up. The show where she interviews people is called The Comics Spot. The Comics Spot. And she's interviewed people like Tommy Chong and Sinbad and tons of other people. She's just got such a great energy about her. Hard pan on the hand pan. Hi, Howard. All right, let's get into this thing. It's called Interview Friday. Linda Marcus Smith. Let's take it.
News. Yeah. When I get sad, I have an antidote for it. I write jokes. I write jokes. One day I wrote 82 jokes. Do you have any idea how sad it was that day? Not only did I have to put up with my own depression, I had to get a phone call from a 74-year-old lady back then, like 10 years ago, Betty. And she called up and said, I'm blocking you on the Facebook. She called me on the phone to tell me she's blocking me on Facebook. And I said, why, Betty? Like I cared. I'm a great pretender. And she said, because you wrote 82 jokes today. I had no idea I wrote 82 jokes. And I did it? And she goes, yes. And I read every one of them, and I missed my doctor's appointment. To which I said, I bet he's glad.
All right. Linda Marcus Smith, so glad to have you on Lunch Therapy. How are you?
Wonderful, Joel.
Oh,
Thank you for
good.
having me.
So where are you right now? You're in a cafe or in a, yeah. Are people staring at you going, what is she doing?
Security's trying to kick me out, and I'm like, no, don't.
No. Well, worst comes first, you can go roving out on the street and give us a report. You can do like a woman on the street where you interview people for
Good.
Lunch Therapy. Yeah, we love that kind of stuff here. So good to see you.
Okay.
You now reside in New York City, is that right?
I do. I live in Queens.
Wow. So had you ever lived there before?
I lived here 3 different times in 98 and a couple times in like 2018, 17, 18, something like that. A couple different times.
Were you doing comedy there back then?
Yeah, but I wasn't as funny.
You
It was
weren't. So you you were in the military.
Yes.
You had this whole life before you started doing comedy. 63 years of life.
Yes.
Did you ever perform, or were you any kind of performer before that? Were you an actor? Were you no.
Oh,
You never even
no.
thought of doing comedy?
I made people laugh. Like I made a Buckingham Palace guard laugh in 1974. I made an East German border guard laugh.
Yeah. You made an East German border guard. How did you manage that?
He was 10 kilometers away on the other side of the border, and we both had binoculars, and I made him laugh through binoculars. So I figured one day I should do stage, it'd be much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So what drove you, from what I understand, well, I don't know if this is too personal, but there was you and your daughter had a falling out.
We
And
did.
that's what made you hit the stage, because you were so messed up about that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
Yes, I spoiled my daughter. Don't ever spoil your children, people. I spoiled my daughter for 36 years. And then I got hit by a drunk driver in 1996, and I couldn't continue spoiling her. So it caused a big rift.
And what did you do in Portland? What is there a big? I mean, we had Susan Rice on the scene, and she was talking about there was kind of a big comedy scene in Portland. Was that something? How did you find the comedy scene there, and what did you do?
Well, I was in with Harvey's Comedy Club, not with Helium. I went to Helium Mike's, but I was embedded in the heart and doing everything. And it was a lot. That's actually why I started my 168 interviews is with Harvey. They said, everybody here thinks you own the book. Why don't you do interviews?
Oh, that's true. When I was there, it did seem like you were working there, but I didn't know what you were doing. You were there talking with people, and you seemed to know everybody, and you seemed to be kind of embedded in that community, but I didn't know if you were what you were doing. Yeah.
I wanted everybody to feel at home, and I went to high school with the owner.
Yeah.
Barry Colin. I went to high school with him. And when I got into, somebody keeps leaving the door open.
Yeah, that you're cutting in and out, but this is great if you keep walking somewhere because I think you were getting in and out because of like noise that was around you or something. So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
so I wanted everybody that came into Harvey's to have a good time, and they started using me for telemarketing, and I started doing open mics in the town square to get people to come into the club. So I was just doing whatever was needed.
Really good. And you were getting stage time because of that?
Say that again.
Were you getting stage time because of that?
No, heck
No.
no. They put me on stage one time to follow Susan Rice.
Susan Rice.
Yeah, I
She's
followed. She did her headlining, broke and tore up the room. And
she's
they said, okay,
hilarious.
yeah. Now that we're doing the guest check spot, let's throw this newbie up on stage.
So was that a disaster? Yeah.
Yeah, but I did my best, but I wasn't ready for it. And so
Yeah.
what got me better in comedy is putting myself on the road and paying for myself to go around the country and do comedy.
Oh,
That got
okay. So let me ask you this. How did you learn comedy enough to go on the road? And when you went on the road, how did you book shows? And were you hosting, headlining, featuring? What were you doing?
a little bit of anything besides headlining. So I got some hosting, some featuring, guest spots. I didn't care what it was as long as I could be on the road. So back to the question of how did I get better? So I have a brain trauma from that car accident.
Yeah.
And at first I had to take notes up on stage, and it would take me weeks, all day for weeks, to be able to memorize my material. And then I would get up on stage and forget it.
Did you find a method to get around that, or how did you find a method to do that? Yeah, tell us about it. That's really interesting.
Well, Paul Lyons, he's a comedian. One night he saw me using notes and he said, "Have you ever thought about being authentic?" And so then I went home and cried for 2 weeks, and I Googled what is authentic. I didn't even know what it was. And so then I only started writing jokes that were really true. Not up until that point, I was just writing nonsense to make people laugh. Nothing was true. So I couldn't remember.
You had no connection to it. It was just a trick, essentially. I say this, and then people laugh. But they're like totally disconnected, and it's not like you're talking from yourself.
And I wasn't doing it in a chronological order of any kind. So when you put it in the order it happened, and it really happened, all of a sudden you can remember it.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? It's because you've kind of put it in real space. Like you picture things rather than picturing a joke written on a page. You actually are telling people a story, and sometimes it evolves, right? Sometimes it changes the way you tell it because you're looking at something, you're watching something from your memory, and you're observing that for people, and that's a completely different thing than saying a memorized joke.
Yes.
Authentic.
Exactly. But yeah, people let me come on to shows in different cities, states, whatever. And, some of those that I did around the country, I did a C+ or B average, but I just kept plugging away at going around the country. And it really increases your confidence to get out there and make yourself a road comic, even if you're self-funded.
Tell us a little bit about how you would book a show. Did you just call up different venues? Did you get a list of venues and just call them up and say, "I'm Linda Marcus Smith"? Did you send them a reel? What did you do?
That's what I'm doing these days. But back then, I just I've interviewed so many club owners, bookers, agents, and comedians that I started actually getting invited to come. So when I started, I decided I'd go all in with comedy. And then I let no, I'm ready to go on, ready and willing to go on the road. And people saw that and started inviting me.
That's cool. You got to be authentic. Yeah, you got to be authentic. Some in the chat room are saying true about that. They're really vibing on that thing. Let's just, I'm going to play a little sizzle here of yours. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to say something.
Yeah.
I thought that, comedians are self-involved and we get dinged for being crazy and selfish and maybe narcissistic. But inside of comedy, the deeper you dig on a subject, how you feel and felt about it, what you found out about it, the deeper you dig, the more you seem like you're afraid to do that because you don't want to be narcissistic. But the deeper you go, the more you relate to the man.
Relate to you. You connect on that, like we say, like a deeper level. Matt says there's a weird thing where the more you're in touch with yourself, the more universal your work will be. That's so important. That was one of the things I asked Susan Rice about. I was like, how are you connecting with young people? Because a lot of times, your references are so different than people of, in their 20s or whatever. And she's like, I just connect to, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically she was saying, I connect to universal things that everyone's experiencing. Everyone can understand, I guess.
I tried doing that, but I came up with this equation that I was not connecting with young people at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I went free and I interviewed young people. And I said, when you look at me, what do you think? What do you think I'm going to talk about? What do you want me to say? What don't you want me to talk about? And I developed a whole, I'm just like the young people bit from those interviews.
Wow, that's really interesting. It's sort of like when the movies, before they come out, they have these screenings and they have cards and the people fill out. Was that scary to do that?
Yeah, and it was so revealing because it helped me shape my persona, because then I said, I know you're looking at me and you think Karen, that came from an interview. I know you think it's a wig. It's not a wig. I'm not a Karen. I'm not a racist. Give me a chance to tell you who I am,
Yeah. Do you find that you have to basically introduce yourself every time you go up on stage?
I have found that, but on April 8th, I'm trying out to get past at Comic Strip Live.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Congratulations. That's some applause. Wow. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Thank you. I'm not used to an applause break. Okay. So coached not to do those throwaway introductory, just go straight into my material. And that's not comfortable for me. I like to give the audience a flavor that I'm wacky. I might be older, but I'm loving and I'm self-deprecating.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like that where you go into a room and you're like, you can just feel that people are like, oh no, here's this, old person up here that's going to rattle on. I get that feeling sometimes when I go, sometimes I get that feeling. And like, how do you dig yourself out of that? I mean, we've answered that a little bit, but what do you do?
I do, but if I feel like the room is ageist, I'm going to use the word. Yeah. They don't necessarily want to hear an old lady, or they're skeptical what I'm going to talk about. When I'm walking up on the stage, I learned this from Steve Marshall, smile and hands on the way up, or do something goofy to get them laughing before you get on stage.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Yeah. Sometimes, I noticed in the comedy community, there's a lot of fist bumping going on, but a lot of times that really connects you. Even after like somebody does like if you're at an open mic or something and somebody does it and they come back down and you give them like a fist bump, it changes the whole tone of the room. Sometimes you can change the whole tone of the room just from little actions like that.
Yes. I have something I want to say about comedy. I feel like a lot of times people, I don't know what I'm doing with my camera.
It's okay.
I feel a lot of times people go on stage, comedians go on stage to get laughs, to get people to follow them, to get booked again. And when I remember to go on stage to give joy, give laughs, give acceptance, to give oneness, to give a good vibe, to give a good moment, give an be entertaining. It doesn't matter what you say. You know, when you're up there giving instead of trying to take, I think the audience feels that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've noticed about you too, is when you're on stage, you're so personable. And I don't know if that's the right word, but you automatically connect with you. You automatically want to laugh. You want to laugh because you're like having a good time. You're connecting. You're very present. And it makes for a good time for everybody. And also you're a pro. So you're not worried about it. You know, that's the last thing I want people to feel when I'm on stage, is worried about me. You know what I mean?
I wanted to talk about being present.
Yeah.
Whenever you're worried about the past, when you think about the past, you start fretting, worrying, wishing you could have done. And in the future, you're anxious or concerned, or, you know, and the only peace you're going to find in life right in this.
Lost you for a second there. Hey, I'm going to play a clip real quick here of you doing sit-ups on stage.
Do you know how many things I have overcome in 74 years? I overcame the slinky, the Maytag repairman, the Etch-a-Sketch, all those terrible things. You're not going to get me by ignoring me. I'm going to find a way around it. So I did the unthinkable. I got down on the ground. And I was in the Army in 1973. I'm going to knock myself out one of these days. I started doing sit-ups. Because, like I said, nobody's going to ignore me. I can do this while I'm doing the dishes, while I'm having horizontal mambo jumbo, while I'm doing the dishes and having horizontal. You can Google it. Okay. But anyway, I won't break a sweat. You can ignore me, but I'm just going to get weirder, and this is the beginning. So those, thank you.
I mean, how can you not be having a good time when this 74-year-old woman is up there doing sit-ups while she does stand-up? It's incredible. Do you work out, or what? Why are you in such great shape that you're up there? You didn't even like break a sweat or even like breathe heavily.
I don't know how that happened. I do a lot of walking. That's all.
Do you? So can you tell us what made you? Well, go ahead.
1 second.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about.
Oh, I like it.
I wanted to talk about being present. Just for your. I wanted to give them a little bit of knowledge. There's no peace in this world except this moment right here. The past makes sense. In fact, you go way past 10 times. Get it?
Yeah, way past. Yeah.
And the future makes you so. People say you're so present. Well, that's the only place there's any peace of mind.
You said the future makes you anxious. Yeah. I think it does too. And also your past can make you anxious as well.
Yeah.
Or regretful or whatever, you know. And if you're present, there is no time. There is no age. I always say you're either alive or you're dead.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You're either alive or you're dead. There's not, the rest of it is just inconsequential. You know, what made you move to New York City? Because you were in Vegas, right? You were in the entertainment capital or the vortex of entertainment and debauchery, and you've suddenly just up and moved to New York. Tell us why you did that.
Well, there's just not enough sin in Vegas for me. I'm kidding. No, so I came on a visit many times, and I have bonded with Gladys Simon at Comic Strip. And on my last visit, she said, if you move here, I'll use you as a regular host.
Use you as a regular host. Oh, that's great. So that
stuff and stuff I couldn't bring, I gave away.
wow. So you were like, okay, I'm moving. Wow. Was that a big transition? Did you find that the audiences, I know you've worked all around the country, but did you find the audiences were drastically different from Vegas?
Yeah, the audiences in Vegas go to get drunk and heckle. I mean, you have to do your dirty sets to keep them interested for the most part. But they want 6 laughs a minute for you to get past.
6 laughs a minute.
You got to really, you're in the Olympics of comedy when you're in New York City. Nobody leaves you alone. They're always in a good way, pushing you forward, pushing you up.
In New York, you're saying? Yeah.
There's no sitting back on your laurels, just making drunk people laugh.
Do
Like
you
in Vegas.
Do you have anybody that has mentored you in your joke writing and your comedy? Can you tell us about that?
So I've gone to Joke Zoom, which Rob Chiaffi started, and he passed away. Rest in peace. I've got Gladys Simon has Jimmy Shin. I've taken his classes. The people I've mentored me, but I've had so many coaches. Vanessa Hogshead has taught me about hosting, act out, and many people great setup, comedy writing tips. Judy Carter.
Judy Carter, she's amazing.
I know.
I love her.
And you just a little bit from everybody and throw a little bit of it away too.
Yeah, you kind of got to take what works for you, you know?
Yeah.
And I find that each comic teacher has like something to give that is unique. The really good ones, you know, they give you a little something where you're like Judy Carter. When I had her on the show, she said to write 750 words a day, just to prime the pump. Or I think she said write for 20 minutes. That's what she said. And I've been doing that ever since. And it's so helpful, you know. And then, you know, and Jimmy Shin, of course. You said something about Jimmy Shin. You're going to be touring with Jimmy, or you've been doing some shows with him?
He puts on shows around the country, and he's going to let me be. I've been on Portland and Hollywood, and he's going to add New York. That's
great. You know, you said this thing about hosting. I think that's something that a lot of times comedians don't know about. That's a great way to get stage time, for one thing, but it's also a different job than, say, featuring or headlining or doing a show with, you know, a big lineup of comedians. Can you tell us a little bit about hosting and how that's different?
Well, what I've found about hosting is that you have to, I know this is going to sound obvious, but you have to bring the room together in your way. Don't try to do it like you've seen other people. Find a way to bring the room together and get the energy up and keep the energy up. And you know, don't like, you have to really know how to read the room and read people's and pay attention and be in the moment with their response. If you ask a question, you got to be ready for it. It could go any which way but loose.
You ask a question to the audience. Yeah. And are you also sussing out who's in the audience for the featured person and the headliner? Or are you like trying to read the room for them too?
Yes. And you got to know, like, you can't mess up the introduction. You know, if you ask them what they want you to say it right. And you've got to, you know, show the audience that you're not there to get all the laughs. I get so tired of hosts that me. I want I am the host. No one cares about it. I was on the train and somebody said, "Oh, you're hosting, so you're not really a comedian," and that's what the audience thinks. They don't really think.
Well, that's why you can pull out the magic trick of making jokes, because they maybe don't expect it from you. And they don't realize that you're the one that has to talk to the cold room. You're the one that steps on stage first. And that's the most difficult position in the entire show. You know? And you also have to do things like if there's a raffle or something like that, you have to like talk about that or whatever. Matt Wright said a quote here that he said, "Why should I fear death? If I am, death is not. If death is, I am not. Why should I fear that which can only exist when I do not?" Epicurus. Wow, that was some deep. See, we got a deep chat room here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Now, I don't want to torture you anymore with walking around this wherever you are, but this has been really, really enlightening and really interesting. I'm going to play a little clip here of you in your interviews. Let me see if I can find it here.
I'm at Capital One Cafe.
Where are you? Oh, we're going to give them a little plug?
Yeah, Capital One Cafe.
For using.
It's to throw me out of here.
Yeah. I've done shows in cafes before. It's so difficult though, because like you're just there like at the whim of whatever happens, and there's music and all this other stuff. So I applaud you for persevering through this.
Thank you so much, Joe, for your having me on and your patience with me.
Of course. You're just a pleasure. You're an absolute pleasure. I'm going to play your little sizzle reel here because it's fun.
Okay, sure.
So I just turned 40. 27 years ago. And I've been killing it all over this town, mostly at bus stops, but it's all right. I got the 72 down pat now. I know what time to go out there and everything.
With Mr. Notes.
Okay.
Cliff Notes.
Okay.
You're welcome. You guys like to talk. Talk to me. What's going on, Portland? What's up?
So,
I know this lady over here likes to talk. You in the white tank top, very cute. I know you get your clothes at Forever 21.
oh Lord, hold on.
Right?
I don't know where this is going.
There, but they're looking at me and they're like, "You're paying triple, bitch."
Next time. So I'll be waiting for that text message. Here I am doing the second oldest profession in the world. Second oldest profession. Because you know, the first oldest was lying down. So, winning there too. And you get arrested far less often.
This has been great because the chat room is getting deep on us. I love that. There's all this talk about Epicurus. So you've inspired a lot of people. And that's super fun, that reel. I love it because we get to see like all the different things that you've gone through and all the different things. So thanks so much for being here. Very wonderful to have you. Yes.
Hey, room. Thanks a lot for being there. Keep supporting Joe Marshall and Lunch Therapy.
All right. We're going to do a dance break. You can sign off if you want, or if you want to dance around in the cafe, you can do that as well. All right. Thanks so much. See you soon.
See you soon.
Linda's a gem. She is. Okay, we're going to sing it out here with the Dirty Diary. Doing some Tom Waits. Thanks to everybody for being here. I know our audio was a little in and out, but the content was superior, I believe, to many shows out there on network or YouTube. Love this guy. Hey, everybody. Stay present. Stay alive. You can go to Linda's Instagram to see the show. She says she's going to be posting. She's also got her YouTube channel, Linda Marcia Smith. Thanks to everybody for being here. See you on Tuesday. Tuesday, there's going to be a contest as usual. You can win some cold hard cash. Yeah. Tom Waits has that gravelly voice. This guy has the... What would you call that? Megaphone? I see y'all later. Love you too, Howard. Clap your hands, everybody.